and welcome to our May 17th, 2022 Board of County Commissioners meeting. I am your Vice Chair, Ed Campy. Commissioner Smith will not be here today, so all of the votes that we take will be indicated that will be 4 to whatever, with Commissioner Smith absent. We're going to start with an invocation by Pastor Dave Alpers from the Redeemer Lutheran Church, our friend, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would all please stand. Thank you. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you always for allowing me to do this. Heavenly Father, every morning I get up, I walk outside and I think, wow, this is a wonderful place to live. Martin County is a great place to live, and we know we want to keep it that way and everything, and so we need your wisdom. Wisdom to know about how to grow, how to do this, how to do that, what's best for the community, what's best for everyone involved. I just pray for our commissioners today that you would bless them in the business at hand, that you would give them wisdom in their tasks as they work together for the common good of our county. And we just pray for your blessing and your guidance on them each and every day. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, we don't have any additional items. We don't have any consent agenda pulls. We do have one request to withdraw. Proclamation number 3, Brightline will be providing the Board of County Commissioners with a presentation. And with that, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I will move approval of the agenda with the request to withdraw Proclamation number 3.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Okay, we have a couple of wonderful proclamations and groups and individuals that we would like to celebrate and recognize this morning. Ms. Beaupre, you are recognized.
There's no consent.
Good morning, Commissioners. Our first proclamation day is declaring Memorial Day in Martin County, Florida. Since our nation's earliest days, America has been blessed with an unbroken chain of patriots who have served our country with honor and distinction. We pay tribute to those patriots who never came back, who fought for a home to which they never returned, and who died for a country whose gratitude they will always have. In recognition of Memorial Day, the Board calls upon all citizens to take the time to remember those who served and sacrificed, to be sure this nation remains the bastion of freedom we've all been privileged to enjoy. And here to accept, we have Veteran Service Officer Dan McHenry.
Greetings. Well, I don't want to leave the podium void without first just thanking you, the commissioners, on behalf of the 14,000 veterans who call Martin County home. Thank you for your advocacy, your support, certainly your leadership, ma'am, in making Martin County so veteran-friendly. Yes, I'll scoot up here. Sorry about that. So yes, a Memorial Day proclamation. As a county and as a country, we must pause to pay tribute to those brave patriots who came before us and who never came home. While we all recognize the supreme sacrifice, we also honor Gold Star mothers who mourn their heroic loved ones. A Gold Star mother is the mother of a fallen service member who died while serving in a time of conflict. Accepting today's proclamation is Gold Star mother Karen Zook. Karen is the very proud mother of United States Marine Corps Corporal Ian T. Zook. Ian was just 24 years old when he was killed in action October 12, 2004 in Al-Anbar province of Iraq. Following her son's heroic service and ultimate sacrifice to our great nation, Karen vowed to serve veterans and families in her late son's honor. She joined the American Gold Star Mothers Incorporated and is the president of the Treasure Coast chapter of Gold Star Mothers, which serves Martin, St. Lucie, Okeechobee, Indian River, and the Palm Beaches. Karen is also the current president of the Treasure Coast chapter of Blue Star Mothers of America. She has been the volunteer coordinator for the last 9 years. Additionally, Karen was active on 2 committees which brought the Herschel Woody Williams Gold Star Memorial Monument to our area to bring awareness to Gold Star families. She has a passion for wreaths across America and brought that initiative right here to Martin County. Karen honors her son's courage and bravery every day by orchestrating, attending, and helping various veteran-related activities here in Martin County and the surrounding areas. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting today's Memorial Day proclamation, Miss Karen Zoe.
I just want to thank the Board of County Commissioners for this recognition and for honoring our fallen men and women of service and always supporting our veterans. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's actually have you go this way. Yes, just because we get that. Our second proclamation today is declaring Apraxia Awareness in Martin County, Florida. May 14th marked the 6th annual Childhood Apraxia of Speech Day, during which awareness was raised throughout Florida about childhood apraxia of speech, or CAS, an extremely challenging speech disorder in children. CAS causes children to have significant difficulty learning to speak and is among the most severe speech deficits in children. And while the act of learning to speak comes effortlessly to most, those with apraxia endure an incredible and lengthy struggle. The board encourages all citizens to learn more about childhood apraxia of speech. And here to accept, we have Jackie Dillon, who is a parent and volunteer with Apraxia Kids.
Thank you. Hi there. As you just heard, childhood apraxia of speech is a very rare and misunderstood neurological speech disorder. And as volunteers with Apraxia Kids, the nation's only nonprofit, and parents of children with apraxia, Jessica and I are very dedicated to raising awareness for this cause. And on behalf of our sons, Jonathan and Joseph, and all the other children who struggle with this rare disorder, we want to thank you for issuing the proclamation to further raising awareness.
Jonathan. You say hi? Hi. Hi. Would you take one with my son too? Jonathan. You want to hold this? This is for you. Aww.
And you show it to her so she can take a picture of it.
Perfect. Right. Good job. Sorry. It's okay.
That was a good job. Plenty of people want to do that. We'll hold it all together. It's very
together.
Now I'm going to get on the floor. I'm not going to be able to get up.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3. Let me take. You're doing a good job. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. One more.
Say 1,
2,
3.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Okay. Thank you very much.
And I'll send you. Thank you so much. You too. Our third proclamation is declaring National Safe Boating Week in Martin County, Florida. On average, 650 people die annually in boating-related accidents in the United States, of which nearly 76% are caused by drowning and 85% of the victims are not wearing a life jacket. A significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. The board commends the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 59 for their efforts in furthering the goals of the National Safe Boating Week campaign, recognized this year from May 21st through the 27th, and their year-round efforts to promote safe boating. And here to accept, along with some other folks, we have Cheryl O'Neill, who is Flotilla 59 Vice Commander with the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Good morning, commissioners and guests. This is an exciting time for us. I am Cheryl O'Neill. I am the Vice Commander of Flotilla 59 in Stewart, and I am on behalf of our Flotilla Commander, Kevin Gilbert, and our 60 other members that it's an exciting honor to be here. We wish to thank everybody here for all the support that you have given us over our 80 years of continuous service to the boating community in Martin County. We are the largest uniformed arm of the Coast Guard, and as such, we carry a force multiplier for them out in the water, in the air, and in the classroom, being the ones who talk about and educate on boating safety. We have a motto, and it's been a motto since 1938, that is Semper Paratus. It means always ready. So we are always ready to go out and help wherever we're needed. As you know, the Treasure Coast is, I think, the premier boating community area in Florida. We might get some challenges on that, but it's where I believe it is. In Martin County, we have over 1,600 registered boaters today. Add those to all the non-area boaters that are in our waterways, and you can imagine how dangerous they are. Last weekend, we had a multi-million-dollar vessel grounded itself, and I'm sure there's a better word for those who are in the Navy for what it's called, but really did some major damage to it, all because they don't know our waterways. Well, what do we do to help that? Since 2020, now that really covers COVID time, we've had nearly 600 people that have gone through our students or have gone through our classes for the boating safety courses. That's a lot, but it is not nearly enough. There's 77% of fatal boating accidents are because people never went to a boating safety class. That's a lot of numbers. And of that 77%, 26% are from personal watercraft. So you got your kayaks, you've got your wave runners, you've got all those. That's 26% of fatal accidents, boating accidents. And of all the boating accidents, 86% are drownings. And those are drownings without life jackets. So our mission really is to get people out there wearing their life jackets. Life jackets save lives, and that's where we are a team. Everybody in Martin County, whether it be the public or whether it be our commissioners, our sheriff's office, our just all the water safety people that are out there. It's our responsibility to get people educated because we don't want to see our hospitals and our morgues built up. So I know that's kind of detailed, but that's where it is. So wear your life jackets to work week is this time. Friday is actually wear it to your job. Take a photo of you in it, post it to your what do you call it? Thank you, media sites. That's it. And just know that it is an impact, and we are here to save lives. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair? Cheryl, I wanted to say to your organization, you recently celebrated your 50th anniversary, 80th anniversary over at Sandsbrit, and what a phenomenal, but furthermore, you were Flotilla of the Year, which is a huge, huge deal of every flotilla, and that was just coming off the end of COVID. So you were able to organize your all-volunteer organization, and so congratulations on that. That was a significant accomplishment, and I just want to recognize it.
Well, we thank you for everything.
All of us. Laura can use your camera if you want to take a picture. Oh, she's very good.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a couple here. 1, 2, 3. Couple of this. 1, 2, 3. Let me get one. Mine. All right, everybody keep smiling. Keep smiling. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Hebbington, if you would stay here for a moment. Commissioner Hetherington has been very, very vocal in supporting our missions as safe boating, having attended both, yes, our Flotilla of the Year award ceremony, and then speaking at our 80th anniversary community event. Thank you very much. This is a Bravo Zulu award. The Bravo Zulu award was started back in World War II and by Admiral Halsey, and it is a unit level award. He started it with a way that semaphores and things like that to communicate to other people that everything was good, and it means job well done. I want to thank you for what you're supporting, and if you can have
Isn't that
that.
cool? Oh,
It's a challenge
thank
point.
you. It's quite a surprise, and I'm very humbled.
So there you are.
Let me get one of these two, please.
Oh,
All right. 1, 2.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
put this back up.
Oh, you don't, that's,
Leave it finished.
is Donna here?
Yes.
We're now going to have proclamation number 1, a Blue Star Memorial donation, and it'll be presented by Miss Donna Perlman from the Stewart Garden Club. Yeah, just pull that mic back towards you. Up, Laura's on it.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Donna Ray Perlman, and this is my co-chair here, Marge Pichata, and we're representatives from the Garden Club of Stewart. What we're going to be doing is presenting a Blue Star Memorial, and we're thanking you so much for already giving us permission to do one in I think it's Mr. Harris. Yes, one of the one you've already approved of. We do have to approve it. We would like for you to pick another 1 or 2 more parks, if you could possibly do that, that might deserve to do this. Right now, we do have a Blue Star Memorial, but it's a small plaque. This is one that is quite large, and I think you've all received pictures already. That's it right there, if you look at your memorial. It's pretty large. But I do have to mention that the one that is already in Memorial Park in Stewart is getting a little tattered, a little tarnished. We're talking about either replacing it, but not necessarily there. So if you would like to consider possibly doing this really large Blue Star Memorial in Stewart, but we would like to get approval for that from you as well, and maybe another park. We actually have to decide which park that it will go in. It should be in a park where there's a lot of activity going on, good, safe lighting, because people do, unfortunately, steal these. It's bronze, it's worth a lot of money. So we would like very much for you to consider a couple more parks. We do plan on installing this sometime next year. And everybody right now is on a hiatus right now in our garden club. So we're thinking we'll have a choice probably next maybe November, maybe in December. We'll actually vote on which one we would choose to do it. If we can refurbish the small one that's already established, we can possibly put that in another park. But I would like for you to consider possibly allowing this one to be replaced with the smaller one, and maybe in a better location. Anyway, if I have any questions at this point, I'd like to take them if I may.
I have a question.
Yes,
Ms. Beaupre, is this the location at Lance Corporal Justin Wilson Park?
that was one that you approved already, but we would like for you to come up with a couple more locations. And I know I personally, both of us are from Palm City.
Well, good for you.
Yes, thank you, yes. And she was from Hope Sound originally, and I was originally from Stewart.
Well, you're making smart moves.
Yes, thank you. And, but we had discovered about the Memorial Bridge. We thought about putting it there, but unfortunately, the one that we have installed in Indiantown twice has been hit by cars. We've had to replace those. So we need to discover something that is not necessarily on a road, because we have no idea what could happen to that. We've replaced them twice now in Indiantown.
Well, I'm sure the commissioners, we can put our minds together and come up with
Yeah,
locations.
come up with another park or so.
I have a great idea in District 2. I was going to have Patricia come down from my office and speak to you about it.
Oh,
get your-
that would be wonderful. We resume our first meeting in October. Is our first meeting that we're going to be having. But this is a very expensive, but we're totally covering all the cost. It's a few $1,000s to replace this. It's not going to cost the county anything. So, and she and I are in charge of the current one right now, but it does need a little either refurbishing or a total replacement. Okay?
Thank you. Any other questions?
None?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Hello, Miss Sarah. She's a member of the Garden Club. So, and she understands you've done this before for us.
Yes.
Okay? And if there's any other questions, you can talk, and I want to thank Mr. Northcutt as well. He's been very, very helpful.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lori, you did an excellent job. We appreciate you. Okay, we'll go to public comment now. I have a couple of public comment request to speak forms. If you are interested in speaking to us this morning on a general topic, we're going to take those now. Or if you wanted to speak about an agenda item that's happening later today, but you won't be able to be here, you can also speak about that item now. However, if you speak this morning about it, when we get to the item later, you won't be able to speak about it again. Also, the way our system works is you'll have 3 minutes to make your comments. At the 2-minute and 45-second point, you'll hear a tone. That doesn't mean to stop. It just means that you have 15 seconds to sort of wrap up your thoughts so that you're not just immediately cut off. And I believe Ms. Krista has something that she would like to add prior to us going into public comment.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We are currently in what we refer to as an election season. We have county commissioners that are in active campaign for re-election. Your public comment is to address the Board of County Commissioners as a whole. We do not allow partisan politicking, which is defined as advocating the election or defeat of a particular candidate. Use of words, dates, signs, props, and/or wearing apparel or nameplate that convey a message or express advocacy for a person or group of persons is also not allowed. Thank you for your cooperation, and you have 3 minutes, as the chair said.
Thank you very much. We'll start with Mr. James Kimball. Mr. Kimball, good morning and welcome.
I'm going to be speaking about the comprehensive plan to Jensen Beach. I guess that's the change in the parcel from general commercial to industrial for use. So just as an FYI, I've been a resident of South Florida, various parts of it since 1956. So I'm pretty familiar with, things that have changed in that time. I moved to Martin County 10 years ago to escape the nightmare that West Palm Beach had become. The decisions being made there for out-of-control building with no regard for the impact it would have on road systems and the quality of life for its residents. Over the past couple of years, I've seen the same out-of-control building occurring here. The road systems in Martin County, especially along Federal Highway and Canner Road, in the off-season look like they did in season a decade ago. Everywhere I look now, all the green spaces are being bulldozed and developed. The decisions being made by this commission are turning this city into another nightmare. There is no concern for the impact your decisions are having on our road systems or the people of this community. You were elected to represent the best interests of the people, but it appears to me that you only represent the wishes of the realtors and developers. I urge you to, until you have a plan to address the congestion along our road systems, especially along the Federal Highway corridor, that you stop all, further development in those areas. If not, maybe it's time for the people of this community to elect commissioners who will represent them rather than the realtors and developers. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Karen Hall. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. I'm Karen Hall, Yost Rudge, 1701 Southwest Palm City Road. I've lived in Martin County for over 30 years. Thank you so much for your the website where you can view the county commission and the administrator emails for transparency. That's so lovely. It commits to communications transparency. Okay, well, I had a letter there Wednesday, and I wrote one Thursday, and that didn't get on. And so I've made a copy for each one of you. I'm going to read it, though, because I also said on Saturday you didn't get this one on. So for some reason, it didn't get on, but I'm going to read it. This is to the attorneys for our tax collector and our property appraiser, Mr. Woolsey. Mr. Woolsey, thank you for your letter. Of course, I need counsel. That's why we're waiting on an order of Judge Moore in the federal court case 22-14085 since March 28th for a voluntary attorney. I've been to so many attorneys for help on contingency, and I've recorded all these attempts with the court. The attorney I spoke to last week from North Palm Beach said, "That's a hornet's nest, and I'm not getting into it." We also did not want to be in it, and we continue to wait on the courts to end this litigation with a remedy to our harm. According to the 5th and the 14th Amendments, and with punitive damages to deter this misbehavior of elected public officials and officers of the court whom hold the people's trust. I will leave you with the text from the alleged property owner, John Katzok Jr.'s assistant, Victoria Lasasso. Hi, Karen. This is April 25th, 2022. Hi, Karen. Hope this finds you well. I'm sure you're aware that the tax deed has been applied for on the Palm City Road property. I wanted to reach out one more time to see if you would accept a payment for a corrective deed before it moves to sale. Clearly, even John Katzok Jr. knows his deed is defective. All I'm asking is that while we are awaiting orders from the 19th Circuit and the U.S. District Court, that our home does not go for a tax sale until the litigation is settled. That is the fair and probably legal thing to do. We are trying to return a minor child to her lawful homestead where she was unlawfully removed.
due to the city's fraudulent report of an unsafe structure. Our house was built in 1929. It was never unsafe. It is still a safe structure today, as a matter of fact. If it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to harm one. Now, you are responsible for your attorney. The judge right here says it's a pending case. I was given 2 dates, and your attorney will not respond, and that is not good. So here's your little, please put my emails on. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next request to speak form is Ms. Carol Fitzpatrick.
Ignoring me, Sarah.
Ms. Fitzpatrick, good morning.
Commissioners, another meeting again with no workshops that were promised to residents in January. Tell me, who do you represent? Today, Brightline is going to come up and speak. How many trains per day? Will this be in addition to the freight trains that are already going through? Martin County is the envy of all South Florida. Why do you think South residents are relocating here? Your actions today will be remembered come Election Day. Waterside property runs along St. Lucie Waterway. County would like to purchase 30 acres of the waterside property off Canna Highway in rural area of Martin County for maintenance facility. This property is near the St. Lucie Waterway. Will this property have any contaminants? If so, how will it affect our already existing waterways? Continuing problems are in peril at this time. How will you connect to water and sewer? This purchase was up for final approval April 19. What is the status today? With no knowledge of discussion beforehand, can that be? Does it mean you already have set your minds to approve the amendment? If so, think of the damages will you be causing for the future of our county. Just remember what you're voting on. This is your county. This is your legacy. We are already paying for over the past century's problems that they have caused. This is in your hands. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next request to speak form is Mr. Jeff Whitman. Mr. Whitman, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Jeff Whitman, Hope Sound. In 2019, when the commission approved construction of the $8 million Fire Rescue Training Center, with Sarah Hurd dissenting, there was no mention of gopher tortoises on the site. Now it appears that there are 26 gopher tortoise burrows on the 6.49 acre site. This site is surrounded by several acres of scrub habitat, which is environmentally sensitive land and would be perfect for relocation for the gopher tortoises. I would hate to see the gopher tortoises moved out of the county. Whenever they're moved, the county's filled up now. They can't put any more in the county. Why doesn't the county create a gopher tortoise preserve on the adjacent property, since there is currently no preserve anywhere in Martin County? Looking at the aerials, it looks like there's about 15 to 20 acres of scrub surrounding this fire rescue training site. Is it because the rest of the property surrounding the site is also slated for airport expansion? This is environmentally sensitive land and should be preserved and not bulldozed. Florida scrub has many endemic plants which occur here and nowhere else in the world. Over 300 other animal species may use the gopher tortoise burrows, so it is no surprise that the gopher tortoise is protected by law, and those laws need to be strengthened. I want to thank all the commissioners who are opposing airport expansion Let's keep it a friendly community airport and keep the big corporations out. And I'm just speaking for the Gopher Tortoises because they can't speak for themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak for him is Mr. Harry MacArthur. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thanks for good. Thanks for coming up.
Hello, Harry MacArthur. I'm just here on a couple things. Unlike everybody else that's been up here, I'll tell you what, you folks have done amazing on so many things, on so many parks, on so many things that I can't brag you up enough on. But a few things I think we've really missed the mark on is the last month rural density issue. I think we've missed that. I got a letter from the Guardians, and they're pushing this. I think they are out of touch. I think people aren't listening. I think if we think about this and redo this, I think staff did a good job, but I think we need to take it one more step. If we go to these developers, Atlantic Fields or whatever, and say, if you're going to build 300 homes or 400 homes or whatever you're going to build, we want 50 or 100 per that for low-income housing for our people that are working on air conditioning, cutting lawns, doing all this stuff, and they have to work in Martin County if they get these homes. And I don't care if they're in Indiantown or where we put them in the county, but we need this. This is a desperate situation. You have Port St. Lucie that feeds Palm Beach County and Martin County. Well, let's make it just for us and let's work with these people. And I think we could have, 20%, 30%, homes and 70% green space out there if we work together with the people that are working on our homes and everything else. And this could work out very well for the county. But you would have to have it where whoever the people are working for, we would have to send their W-2s into the county to keep them in that house. So it wouldn't be a house that they could just work in Palm Beach County or somewhere else. And I think this is an opportunity missed. Planning and Zoning Board in '96, I proposed running Willoughby to Bridge Road, and Maggie and everybody went after me, and wanted to roast me. Now it seems like that'd be a pretty good idea if we had that road through. And I don't care what you say, but hindsight's 20/20, and we need another north-south corridor, and you'll never get it now. But I think something like this would be very helpful for the county if we can look at something where we can take care of our people that are working on our things, whether you're doing whatever these service jobs are in the restaurant business and this, because right now we don't have it, and it's a tough situation. So why not let's look at it from this way and go after it. Beep, time's up. Great seeing everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry to bother you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, staff, for all you do. Thank you.
Our final request to speak for him, if there's anyone else that would like to speak to us before we get into the regular portion of the agenda, now would be the time. Our last request to speak for him at this point is Miss Jennifer Four. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. They all come up here and bark at you, but I've got my turn. Good morning. Let me put my glasses on. I only have 5 questions here. All right, this is all about Cinnamon Tree. When we would pull out of our community area, we used to be able to see a beautiful land of green forest. Now it's just going to be wah-wah. Kind of sad. And also, it's going to be a retention pond. We're concerned about that. We're hoping that whoever's going to be doing that will consider putting a aired what do you call it?
Fountain.
Huh?
Fountain.
Yes, a fountain. Thank you very much. If they don't do that, it could be very smelly there. And so we hope that they consider to do that so the water will be able to breathe. So we don't want it smelly there. And a little landscaping, that would be kind of nice too. they're hardworking people in there. Not everybody's retired, but it would be kind of nice. We also are concerned about the children are waiting for buses there. Do you know how many children have died in ponds like that in West Palm Beach? Do you? Or in the state of Florida? Do you know how deep it's going to be? Does anybody know how deep it's going to be? Do you know how deep bathtubs are? Just consider that. Let's see, what else did I have down here? Who's going to be in charge of taking care of it? I want to consider that. If they don't take care of it, they're going to dig it up, and there's going to be a lot of growth of land. Not only land, but grass starting to grow around the pond. Then we're going to have some problems with more weeds growing up that will bring in all kinds of things, mosquitoes, just a whole lot of things. We don't need any more nature there. I mean, not nature, but just really weedy things that bring in all kinds of things. We have nature behind us, which is great, which won't change anything back there, which is nice. It's a park, but it could bring in alligators, and so we don't need that. We're just hoping that there is somebody that will come in and take care of that pond. So, you know, as I said, we're hardworking people. We're not going to be able to take care.
Your time's up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you. We have a new request to speak form from Mr. Paul Chauvenac. Chauvenac. That's a C at the end. It looked like an L. I apologize.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Paul Chauvenac. I'm a resident of Jensen Beach Country Club. And my street that I live on is Willow Creek. It runs parallel with Goldenrod. And the reason I'm here is, I don't know much about this new development that's going in on US 1 and Goldenrod. I was told there's going to be a Wawa's, a Chick-fil-A, and over 200 homes with 8 units per acre. I mean, like I said, I don't know much about this whole project. I'm just, trying to get some facts. With eight units per acre, is this single-family homes? Is this townhomes? Is it condos? I don't know, but that's a lot of homes per acre. When I first moved there, which was 2015, it was, a nice, quiet road. Since then, they've cleared the land, as you know, on US 1 and Goldenrod. Since they've cleared it, I'll tell you, the noise I hear from US 1 and Goldenrod, the quiet community that I moved into is no longer that quiet. I can hear all kinds of traffic on US 1 as well as Goldenrod. And now with the addition of over 200 homes and a couple of commercial buildings, I've got major concerns. My question I have now, if this goes through, which it sounds like it is there going to be a barrier wall for sound suppression and noise suppression, similar to what they have on, what is that, Greenway behind Pinecrest Lakes? They have that large wall for noise and sound suppression. Is something like that in the works for Goldenrod as well? Because, I invite you all to come over on a Friday or Saturday. We'll listen to the raceway. You go out my front door, and it's quite loud. So, a barrier wall or some sort of sound suppression, I think, is needed. Anyway, like I say, I'd sure like to know a lot more about this project, but I'm just telling you a little bit that I know. If somebody could have these answers on noise suppression and so on, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, we're going to have that agenda item not immediately next, but this morning before our break. So if you'd like to just stay for a little bit, that agenda will be discussed this morning.
Okay, I'm sorry if I jumped.
No, that's fine. You're allowed to speak ahead of time. You told us what your concerns are. I wrote some of them down, and we'll mention them to the applicant's consultants. So you'll have the folks that are from up in that area. If you stay, not our immediate next agenda item, the one following will be this item, so you can
The
hear.
noise suppression's got me really worried.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was our final request to speak form. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll come back to the board, and we'll start with you, Commissioner Jenkins.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Heatherington.
I just want to remind everybody that Southeast Honor Flight is doing their next flight this Saturday, the 21st, and you can greet all the veterans and their guardians when they arrive back in Palm Beach International Airport, approximately 7 p.m. So if you want to greet the guardians and their veterans, then that would be Palm Beach International Airport at 7 p.m. I will be accompanying a gentleman from Vietnam, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. I think, you've done this before?
This will be my second time.
Good for you. Commissioner Hurd.
I'm set.
Thank you. County Administrator Krista.
I just wanted to do a short shout out to, we had quite a few awards that our county employees received last week at the Safety Council meeting that was held down in West Palm. And then over the weekend, we had the Combat Challenge that we did very well. We gave St. Lucie County a run for their money, no pun intended, but it was nice to have that event here in Stewart. So just with that, shout out to our employees.
Thank you very much. Ms. Woods? Nothing. Okay, so we'll go into our regular agenda. We will start with public hearing number 1, a public hearing to consider adoption of an ordinance amending Section 51.4, County Emergency Powers, Article 1 in General, Chapter 51, Disaster and Emergency Management. It'll be presented this morning by Ms. Elise Elder.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Elise Elder, Senior Assistant County Attorney. As Commissioner Campy said, we are here on an ordinance, a proposed ordinance to revise Section 51.4, which really delineates the county's emergency management powers. And we are proposing this change just to make the ordinance consistent with Florida law. Last year, Section 25238 was revised, and the revision really reflects the county's authority for emergency orders. And the new statute delineates between two types of emergency orders: weather-related emergency orders and non-weather-related emergency orders. So for weather-related emergency orders, the county's authority has not changed at all. But a distinction was made for non-weather-related emergency orders, which the statute defines as any order or ordinance issued or enacted by a political subdivision in response to an emergency pursuant to this chapter, which is 252, or Chapter 381, which concerns public health, that limits the rights or liberties of individuals or businesses within a political subdivision. And the new restrictions basically say that a non-weather-related emergency order is only valid for 7 days and then can only be renewed by the Board of County Commissioners, not anybody else within the county. And then those emergency orders can only be in existence for 42 days in total. So what we did is we just revised the current ordinance on the county's emergency management powers, and we revised Section 51.4C, and we just made the distinction about the weather-related response and non-weather-related response and reflected the statutory language in the ordinance. That summarizes the changes we made. I'm happy to answer any questions the individual commissioners might have. And then staff moves that the board adopt the ordinance which amends Section 51.4, County Emergency Powers, Article 1, 51, General Ordinances of the Martin County Code. And I'm happy to answer any specific questions you might have.
Ms. Elder, thank you very much. Questions from my colleagues for Ms. Elder?
I will, if no questions, I'll move staff's recommendation of approval.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that has any questions or comments regarding this agenda item? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously, or 4-0, I should say. Ms. Elder, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we won't be using it, but it's there if we need it. Okay, our next public hearing number 2, a legislative public hearing to consider adoption of a comprehensive plan amendment, CPA 21-15, West Jensen PUD, a future land use map. It'll be presented by, I guess, leading off, Glenn Rosado. Welcome. And
good morning. Good morning.
You have a couple of superstars with you to assist if you need be.
First time.
Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning I'll be presenting CPA 2115, West Jensen PUD. Here we have the subject parcel, 40.47 acres, located on Northwest Goldenrod Road. Yes. Northwest Goldenrod Road, east of the US 1 in Jensen Beach. The applicant is Jensen Beach Land Company, represented by Lucido and Associates, requesting a future land use map amendment to change 14 acres of general commercial and 11.9 acres of industrial to medium-density residential, allowing 8 units per acre. The parcel will retain 14.57 acres of general commercial. Some of the land uses in the area, to the north, we have medium-density residential, general commercial, and residential estate density separated from the subject site by Northwest Goldenrod Road. To the east, we have residential estate density, again separated from the subject site by Northwest Goldenrod Road. To the south, we have commercial general with a little sliver of general institutional here to the east. To the west, we have medium-density residential, separated by the subject site by Northwest Federal Highway. Here we have the proposed future land use map showing the change to the subject parcel, 25.9 acres. As you can see, it will be considered infill development. Here we have the future land use analysis, 2.1. One criteria would need to be met for approval. In this case, 2 of the 4 have been met, and staff can recommend approval. Going down to 2.2, the urban sprawl analysis. As you can see, 13 out of the 13 sprawl criteria have been met to discourage the proliferation of urban sprawl. And Florida statute provides an additional 8 criteria, of which 4 must be met in order to judge whether an amendment can be determined to discourage the proliferation of urban sprawl. In this case, 8 out of the 8 have been met to determine the application discourages urban sprawl. The subject site is located near major arterial roads and is within the primary urban service district and has access to all the public facilities and services. Future land use designations such as medium density residential is appropriate for the sites within the primary urban service district. Additionally, development of the subject site would be infill development. Considering all these factors, staff recommends board move with approval of the proposed change from general commercial and industrial to medium density residential. That concludes my presentation. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Rosado. Nice job. Commissioner Hurd.
Yeah, the staff report says that the Jensen Beach Country Club has a 350-foot buffer Where is that? Is that on the Jensen Beach Club's parcel or on this parcel?
The 350-foot buffer is the wetland buffer between the subject site and the Jensen Beach Country Club.
So is it on this parcel or the Jensen Beach Country Club parcel?
It's right in between on the east side of the parcel. And as you can see, Northwest Goldenrod Road and Willis Creek Road are also considered buffers in this case.
So it's on the Jensen Beach Country Club's parcel?
That's correct, yes.
Is there a development order on this parcel already for industrial and for commercial? And if so, can you describe what it is?
Would you go to the master plan?
Mr. Chairman, can I
Yes.
please step in a minute?
Yes, please.
For the board,
State your name for the
oh,
record.
sorry, I'm Krista Story, Senior Assistant County Attorney. For the board and the applicant and members of the public, I need to remind the board that this is a legislative public hearing. There is no project before you. This is a policy decision. So I was like many, and I was listening to the questions of the public regarding a proposed project, which will be forthcoming in a quasi-judicial matter. So the board, as you know, the advice of the county attorney's office has been, and consistent with the required procedures of comprehensive plan amendments, any questions related to the proposed project on the site are not appropriate considerations for the board as you make your decision about the policy decision to change the land use designation. So maybe a question about, yes, is there or is there not an existing development order? Certainly made that, but I would caution you not to commit to or get into the details regarding the project proposed. But that's not before you today. Members of the public should participate in that project as it moves forward, reach out to staff. That's the appropriate forum for those kind of questions and issues.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, also, I wanted to point out something that we omitted in our initial presentation. 0.55 acres of industrial is proposed to change from industrial to general commercial. It's this little sliver right here. So I wanted to put that on the record as well, in addition to the acreages that Mr. Rosado mentioned, that are proposed to change from general commercial to medium density and from industrial to medium density. There's also that small change. And now, Mr. Rosado, if you would go to...
State your name for the record, sir.
I'm sorry.
Quite all right.
Mr. Chair, my name is Clyde Doolin. I'm the Comprehensive Planning Administrator. And to answer your question, Commissioner Hurd, I do want to get back to that. The subject site, as well as the Jensen Beach Country Club, as you refer to it, are all part of the West Jensen larger development of regional impact and planned unit development. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of what can be developed in the future, but Mr. Rosado, if you'd zoom out, please, and show us the whole picture. Keep going. This is a drawing that shows one half of the larger West Jensen PUD and development of regional impact. The other half is on the east side of this wetland. And one of the speakers who spoke at public comment this morning probably lives along the road that runs along the west side of this wetland. I'm sorry, the east side of this wetland. So this site, if I can get the cursor back on, is where the cursor is right here. It was already slated for and identified as a number of parcels as part of the master plan to have development that would be either industrial or commercial, and no preserve areas within this boundary, and the preserve area is here between Goldenrod and Willow Creek Road. And so I think that's the answer to the question as far as this being part of a larger existing development. Thank you.
So to return to that, is this just platted, or is there a development order for I see in the staff report that there's 58,000 square feet of industrial building area. This is on the existing development order, not on the project. And 235,000 square feet of general commercial.
Those are numbers outlined in the master plan as maximum possibles that could occur in this area.
Is it platted?
No, I don't believe it is not.
Okay, I can ask I just need to understand what's planned for, what existing restraints, regulations, possibilities, what's already allowed on this parcel as it exists today.
Yes, ma'am. And those numbers that you're looking at and the numbers and the development shown on this is an existing master plan. And what happens is a final site plan gets done on individual parcels, or final site plans, multiple, get done on individual parcels within the master plan, and then a plat is done following along behind that on those smaller individual parcels. And what Ms. Story was referring to is the fact that we have not arrived at that stage where we will be looking at the individual site plans and the platting for those individual smaller parcels.
Okay, so just for the people who are the neighbors, you can see what we have in the lower right-hand corner. That's the existing condition on this parcel today, and with its shared land use of industrial on the east side and general commercial on the west side and south. Thanks.
Mr. Doolin, I appreciate your explanation, and for those of us that do this more frequently, we get it. For the members of the public that are here, can you, as Ms. Story mentioned, can you sort of walk us through the process, where we are? Has there been a process earlier, where we are today, like a where you are here kind of a thing, and what's coming forward, so that the folks that got up this morning and came over here can see where they can participate? Some of the questions that were asked this morning, and I apologize, I want to answer questions for residents, but there's a certain process, a legal process, that we sort of take these steps. Can you explain how that process works?
Sure. This process started way back in like 1989, 1990, when the West Jensen Development of Regional Impact was first approved, and it parceled up and divided up into all these little chunks and minor pieces, and there's a large master plan. And over the years, different portions of it have already developed, like the houses on Willow Creek Trail and houses and the Lowe's and all the commercial that's occurred on US 1 have been individual pieces, parts of this larger that have developed over the last 30 years or so. And this is one of the remaining parcels in here to be developed. Whether it gets developed as it's originally planned for industrial or as residential, as being proposed here today, there would be no preserve area within the area between Goldenrod and US 1, and then it would be divided up and decided on by the board as with individual amendments to the PUD or with individual site plans within the PUD. And each one of those site plans comes to the Board of County Commissioners for review and approval, and the board has to stay within the boundaries of the existing master plan and the existing development order that has been done on the much larger area. There is some flexibility as far as the specifics that go into the individual site plan and the specifics of where the lift stations will go, where the retention ponds will be, how the outfalls will work, and all the specifics like that. We can't really tell you at this point whether there will be a fountain in the pond or whether there will be a fence around the pond to keep people out of the pond. Those kinds of things get worked out in the specifics of each and every individual site plan that gets developed within each parcel within this larger project. And so that's why Ms. Story was cautioning us, is because we have to stay within the bounds of that original development order that's 30 years old, and there's some amendments can be made following this public hearing. If the board votes to adopt, There will be a future public hearing, which another planner will bring forward and go into the specifics and the details of where the parking will be, where the dumpsters will be, where the buildings will be located, the number of units, all of the details will be dealt with in that final site plan on this particular property where the cursor is located right now.
Thank you for that. A history question for you, for whoever feels appropriate to answer. You had mentioned the West Jensen PUD. I'm assuming a lot of the residents that moved up into those specific neighborhoods might not have been aware of the fact that their specific neighborhood was part of a much larger project called the West Jensen PUD. And when you said a DRI, they don't use that phrase as much anymore, but a development of regional impact. So not your typical neighborhood, a gigantic one. For those of us from Palm City, Martin Downs was a DRI. Can you name a couple other DRIs so people can have a better understanding?
Sure. Willoughby is a DRI. Mariner Sands is a DRI. Many of the developments in Western Port St. Lucie are all DRIs. Can you think of another DRI?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this West Jensen PUD, someone had purchased thousands of acres, and you said back in the late 80s, early 90s?
Yes.
And then, so what we're looking at here, this document could be 20 or 30 years old.
Yes.
And so back then, someone decided, okay, we're looking at our thousands of acres and we're going to figure out sort of generically exactly what we want here. Now, Cinnamon Tree is part of the West Jensen PUD?
No, it is not.
Just sort of a little island in the middle of that?
That's correct. It developed before the West Jensen development of regional impact and planned unit development was created.
And so the West Jensen PUD is completely surrounding it?
That's correct.
But all of these other neighborhoods that we're seeing here, they're part of that?
They are part of it.
And if you can scroll back down where the portion, so this where it says, 6.5 along US 1 and 6.4 and 6.3, those are acres?
No, those are parcel numbers.
Parcel numbers, okay. So that was the vision even back in the late 80s, early 90s, that it was going to be something. Now, the reason, I guess, that it was trees up until now is the fact that they're just working, as you said, in stages. Instead of just all in, they're just working and I know we have an applicant representative here to discuss these things, but I just want to be clear for the public to understand from our position, we don't have the ability, I don't believe, and we have legal representation. They had gotten approval to build something in this general vicinity. Some of it was going to be industrial, which obviously they're deciding, well, now, looking 20, 30 years later, industrial right there is probably not the right strategy. Now they want to build residential.
Correct.
What would happen if the board decided today, and this is for Ms. Story, what would happen if, for whatever reason, the board decided today to say, we're not doing it?
So Commissioners, as this is a legislative matter, it's a policy decision. The board may determine as its policy that the change in land use is not appropriate. Okay. And you would then deny the request. So that's within your policy discretion.
However, they'd still be allowed to build what they're originally approved for.
Yes, which
is general commercial
and industrial.
and industrial.
Correct.
So our decision-making process today is, should it be, do we collectively or a majority of us agree that it should be, instead of residential, industrial instead of residential, excuse me, and then the general, they're basically leaving as it is because it is fronting US 1.
That's your policy decision.
I just want to be clear, it becomes very apparent for commissioners and staff, we do this. But for the public, that I appreciate that you would come and be concerned about what's happening right where you live. All of us would be. That's going to be something. And I personally think, from a resident's point of view, you're probably better off with residential homes than an industrial land use, because we have plenty of folks that live close by industrial land uses that are really upset with what could potentially be happening next door to you. I think from a property, and this is just my personal opinion, from a property value point of view, you're better off having a neighborhood across the way or near you than industrial warehousing, manufacturing, scrap yards, or we could go through the list of what would be legally acceptable today, because these decisions were made 3 decades ago. Something will happen there, and I understand it's happening in other places in the county where people are very concerned when they see bulldozers come in and bulldoze down the trees. But that's not what we're deciding today, as whether that's going to stay trees or what the applicant is requesting. That's going to be something.
Commissioner So, yes, and you're absolutely right. And the issue of, denying development, if you move whatever your decision today, there is an entitlement to develop the property. So the concept expressed by I think one or more of the public speakers that it would be appropriate for this Board of County Commissioners to withhold approvals for development on this parcel or anyone else's property is legally problematic, as you well know. So the policy decision for you is the intensity of the development. You have a report from staff that analyzed those factors in the comprehensive plan. But yes, this property, and as a development of regional impact, and that has a development order on it and a plan unit development, this property has entitlements that go back decades. So yes, I would assume with the request before you that there is the property owner has an intent to develop this property in some manner.
Thank you. Okay, anything else from the staff or for the staff? We have an applicant's representative. If you could state your name for the record, sir.
For the record, my name is Morris Crady. I'm a senior partner with Lucido and Associates, and I do have the proof of notice to surrounding property owners.
Noted.
And I've had the pleasure and the challenge of working on this project since 1993, and the owner of this development, the Micha family, Alberto Micha, has always been very careful with how he treats his neighbors, and what we're doing here today is we're reacting to the market. This was going to be a regional shopping center, is going to, like you said, light industrial manufacturing when it was envisioned in 1988. Things have occurred. Certainly, retail and industrial development has changed over the years. But one of the other things that's happening on this particular site is, and just to go over, and I did take off the site plan from this aerial because of Krista's comments. 'Cause I don't want to talk about the site plan, but I really want to focus in on why we're changing this from industrial and commercial to medium density. And just so you know, before Mr. Micha and West Jensen Development could turn one shovel of dirt, we had to deal with Cinnamon Tree. Back in the 80s, they were having problems with traffic. Their entrance was on US 1, directly on US 1. They were having problems with drainage. And so the first thing we had to do was we built a lake in front of Cinnamon Tree to give them positive legal outfall through our drainage system. We relocated at our expense their access road to Goldenrod Road. The developer of West Jensen built all of Goldenrod Road, all of it. The developer of West Jensen built all of Green River Parkway. The developer of West Jensen built 8 lanes of US 1 before he could get any of his projects approved. And I know they're talking about the Melaleuca trees and the pepper trees and all of and there is some limited native habitat on this parcel. The parcel's 40 acres, but the Melaleuca infested wetlands and the habitat was all addressed 30 years ago. And for this particular parcel, the developer donated at his cost, 80 acres of wetlands and uplands on the east side of Green River Parkway in order to build on this property because the county at that time and the staff thought it was better to put preserve area next to a state park. And not only that, he spent over $300,000 cleaning up that site before the county would take it. He installed a fence along the boundary of Green River Parkway. And you can see all of this is West Jensen. All of this property that you're looking at, except for the corner here in Cinnamon Tree, is West Jensen. And more than 60% of the site has been preserved. And so starting 30 years ago, this developer has been very sensitive to the environment and in fact, to his neighbors. And we've been developing for the past 30 years with that mindset. And we did meet with the Cinnamon Tree HOA about 6 weeks ago. That we went to their facility, and we're going to do it again. You know, I told them I would be back with the PUD site plan, but we had at least probably 60 or 70 people there at that meeting. I'm not sure if these individuals were there, but I know we did send out notices, and the property manager was there, and we talked about before any of this was done, we talked about what was going to happen so they wouldn't be shocked. And if we didn't do that, this room would be filled up with Cinnamon Tree residents, I'm sure. And we also did the same thing with Jensen Beach Country Club. We met with them twice because we're very much aware of a drainage concern with this wetland 15. You know, and this wetland 15, by the way, goes all the way up to St. Lucie County. So it's really is a separation between the Jensen Beach Country Club property and what we call the US 1 corridor property. But, you know, we're looking at about 500 acres on the east or on the west side of this wetland and about 700 acres on the east side of this wetland. And there's still vacant commercial tracts on US 1. And down in this area along Jensen Beach Boulevard, there's about 10 acres of commercial development that's already been approved, but just not developed. It's master plan approved. There's also about 30 more acres of vacant parcels along the US 1 corridor that's within the PUD. There is no more industrial. We don't really see this as an industrial site. So we do have commercial allocations that allow up to another 280,000 square feet eventually. And we also have approval for a 120-room hotel on this parcel next to Westmoreland Boulevard. So we are changing the land use from industrial to commercial based on market reasons, but also because industrial and commercial allows for 20% open space. We're very much aware of a drainage problem that the people that live along Willow Lake are having or have had during extreme rain events. None of the houses have been flooded, but they have had water in the roads and in their driveways for too long. So one of the things that we're doing, and we have to get in that one and do the site plan, but right now we have runoff coming off this site into wetland 15. We're eliminating that runoff completely. We're redirecting our drainage away from wetland 15 to alleviate that problem. We've also agreed with the property manager and the HOA president to survey a berm along the right-of-way of Willow Lake, which we believe has been compromised over the past 30 years. And part of the problem is that berm gets breached when the wetland fills up. Well, we're going to stop dumping water in the wetland, but still in all, we still want to make sure that the original berm that was put there, perimeter berm, to stop wetland 15 from going that way, is at the right elevation. So we're going to continue to meet with Cinnamon Tree residents. We're going to continue to meet with Jensen Beach Country Club, but we believe a change from industrial to medium density will help us cure the drainage problem. It's less traffic than the commercial industrial development, and we've documented that in the staff report. And in fact, I think there'll be better neighbors. The Cinnamon Tree is at medium density residential. Portofino Club is at medium density residential. We're at medium density residential. Like they said, there's 300 feet of buffer between us and the residents along Willow Lake. We will be back before you with a PUD amendment and a master site plan. I would like to say I'm here on behalf of Jensen Beach Land Company, but also on behalf of the contract purchaser, which is Mattamy Homes. Mattamy Homes is going to be the developer of the residential product here. So we're you have my commitment that we will continue to meet with the residents and make sure their concerns are addressed, and I'll do it right after this meeting if I have a chance to at least answer some of those questions. I don't want to do it on the record because I'm not supposed to. But nonetheless, I think that it's enough just to go from industrial to commercial to medium density and help us create more open space, create more landscape area, and help alleviate some of the drainage problems that are occurring in this area. That's all I have.
Thank you. Did you tell us who you were, and can you give us your background, please?
I am Morris Crady. I'm senior partner with Lucido and Associates, and I've been doing development work or land planning in Martin County since 1982, when I was a staff member here at Martin County for about 10 years.
Okay. Questions from the commission for Mr. Crady? Seeing none. This is a public hearing. Now, if you spoke about this issue this morning, you can have another whack at it now, but if you did not speak this morning and you would like to come and address the staff, the commission, the applicant, you could do that now. And then if you heard Mr. Crady, he said that, and I've seen him do this before, when this item is concluded this morning, if you want to ask your specific questions of the applicant, he can meet with you all in the lobby. And because that is our concern, I can speak for my colleagues, this project has historically been approved for a long time. I wanted to make that clear. But we also are very concerned about existing residents and making sure that there's some complement. What I normally try to tell people is we don't necessarily have the ability to say yes or absolutely no to a project, but we do have the ability on your behalf to make sure that it's a process that, we can't stop someone from building, but we can sort of have some say in what will be built and how it will be built, and questions about ponds and lakes and especially sound walls and things like that, so that understanding that something will be there can be hopefully as reasonable to the existing residents as possible. But most of these neighborhoods, except for Cinnamon Tree, were part of this originally. So with that in mind, back to the board. Commissioner Hurd?
Yeah, the questions that I was asking staff were aimed at educating the public about what uses are possible with the existing land uses, and those are general commercial and industrial. And as we've shown over and over again, industrial uses next to residential are always incompatible. Therefore, I think that this request is more compatible with the neighborhood, so I'm going to make a motion to approve the amendment, staff's recommendation.
Thank you very much.
You have any second it?
Which one?
I'll take it.
Thank you. Okay, that being said, we have a motion by Commissioner Hurd to accept staff's recommendation as presented, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. And like I said, Mr. Crady, if you'd make yourself available to any of the members of the public that would like to hopefully just ask you questions in the lobby.
Thank you,
Thank you
Commissioner.
very much.
Thank you.
And remember, this is just part, not part one, but part of a longer process.
Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you. Mr. Rosado, very nice job.
Nice job for your first appearance.
Why don't we do this? It's 10:23. We're very close to our closed captioning closed captioning break that we normally take at 10:30. Let's take it now. And then,
Maybe a little bit longer than normal.
yes, so what would you say, 15, 20 minutes?
Probably 15.
Why?
There's some,
Signing, a refunding that we need to sign.
for the folks that are following along, are we still on? Good. The folks that are following along at home, we're going to take a 20-minute break. We have to do some signing for some folks that have traveled from out of town to sign some documentation, and we will be back at 10 to 11. Thank you. Okay, welcome back from our closed captioning break. It is still May 17th, 2022. We're going to continue our Board of County Commissioners meeting with agenda item public hearing quasi judicial number 1, request for a zoning district change by Jeremy and Catherine Oakey, 0041-001, and it'll be presented by our newest county employee in the Growth Management Department, at least, Mr. Brian Elam. Welcome, sir, and thanks for joining our team.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Please speak loud and clear so the folks behind you can hear you. We have some speaker issues, I think.
Brian Elam, Senior Planner with Growth Management. Copy of...
Oh, I apologize. It's quasi judicial. I haven't done this for a while. Before you begin, this is a quasi judicial hearing. I have a couple of questions to ask. Commissioner Jenkins, do you have any?
If I have any, they've been filed.
Commissioner Heatherington?
If any, they've been filed.
Commissioner Hurd?
I don't have any, and they've been filed.
I don't have any as well. And what I was meant to ask is, do you have any ex parte? With that, anyone that will be making any kind of testifying or giving any testimony, would you please stand to be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Do you have a copy of your work history and a copy of the agenda item? Thank you. Let the record state that let the record show that it's been turned in. Do we have any interveners? I don't believe so. And so I think we checked all the boxes. Please begin.
Thank you. This is a request by Jeremy and Catherine Oakey for a proposed amendment to the county zoning atlas for a residential district designation. The proposed amendment is to change the existing zoning district on an approximate 1.23 acre parcel from WE1 Waterfront Estate District to RE1/2A Residential Estate District. The subject site is located at 2865 Southeast St. Lucie Boulevard, approximately a quarter mile west of the St. Lucie River, abutting the West Lake tributary. Included with this application is a request for a certificate of public facilities exemption. This is a 2021 aerial site, a 2021 photograph of the aerial of the subject site. This is a zoning atlas excerpt showing the WE1 Waterfront Estate District. Future land use map showing the estate density, 2 units per acre for the property and the surrounding properties. Current zoning district on the property is WE1 Waterfront Estate District, a Category B district. In the current Article 3 zoning code, the district is consistent with the future land use. Therefore, the request rezone is considered non-mandatory. There is one standard zoning district available to implement the estate density, 2 units per acre, and that's RE1/2A. The planned unit development, or PUD zoning, is also an option. Here's a comparison of the current and proposed development standards for these 2 zoning districts. You'll notice that the front and rear setbacks are considerably different for the RE1/2A. And I'd also like to note that the Okies have gone through and received an environmental waiver for a 30-foot setback, rear setback on their property. Oh, that didn't.
That didn't work out.
That didn't work out.
Okay.
I think they throw some of these things at you just sort of haze you a little bit on your first time. Donna, you can stop now. You can let them go back to it.
Okay. Get your thumbnails back.
Oh.
Oh, she's got it?
There you go. Type in.
Are you trying to get to the recommendation, Pete?
I think so.
Donna,
Were you done with the
No, there was
several more, wasn't
there's
there?
a couple more slides.
oh, there's more slides?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can get back to the bookmarks.
Where's the,
Bookmarks? Don't
Yes.
know.
PowerPoint was in the,
Was in the agenda item. Yeah, she's got it. She's going to reload it for you.
Sometimes you just let go of the mouse and let it just magic.
Yep. There you go.
It's not Donna's first day.
Up one?
oh, I got it, or?
Well, I thought. There you go. Okay. I don't know if you want to go down to your presentation again?
Yes.
Okay. Up. Right there. No?
There we go.
There we go. I'm just going to scroll.
Why don't you just start over?
Good practice for you, Brian.
This is a picture of the surrounding area and some of the properties that have rezoned to RE1/2A, the Category A zoning district, which is put in place specifically to be consistent with.
Brian,
future
speak up a
land
little
use.
bit for us. It's hard for the folks at home to hear you.
Just wanted to show you some of the surrounding properties in the area along the St. Lucie River that have already rezoned to RE1/2A. So staff recommends that the board receive and file the agenda item in the staff report as Exhibit 1 and move that the board approve the request to rezone from WE1 Waterfront Estate District to RE1/2A Residential Estate District. This concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Nice job.
Nice.
Questions from my colleagues for staff? Seeing none at this time, applicant has a presentation to make. Morning.
Morning. I'm Kristen Spake. I'm also having a little speaker problem, but I'm here on behalf of the applicant from McCarthy Summers. Thank you to staff. I don't have a lot to add. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And just very short summary, the applicants purchased this house. The pool is damaged. Their pool company told them the damage is so bad, you might as well just put in the pool that you want because it's going to be very costly to repair it. And so they just want a little more space for a pool, kind of more consistent with the community that they're happy to live in.
Excuse me,
Story?
Can you, for the record, indicate the status of the notices that you provided?
Yes, the notices were mailed out and handed in at the LPA meeting.
Okay, that's what I needed for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. The record states that they, just in case the folks couldn't hear you, the return receipts were turned in at the LPA meeting. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
I like that your colleagues sent you to make this presentation with losing your voice.
Ugh,
I saw Mr. McCarthy back there somewhere. He's laughing in the lobby.
Is he
It's
back
fine.
there? I mean, it's sad, but I deal with it.
Each of us have several questions for you. Any questions for the applicant's representative? Seeing none. Any members of the public looking to address us or make comment on this particular agenda item? Also seeing none, comes back to the board for any final wrap-up from staff.
No comment.
Move staff's recommendation.
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion by Commissioner Hurd to accept staff's recommendation, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the pool party. Mr. Elam, you did an excellent job. We're going to keep you. Your employment is extended. Our next agenda item is also quasi-judicial departmental number 1. Request by KL Waterside LLC for final site plan approval for South Florida Gateway PUD Plat Infrastructure Plan S265-002. It'll be presented by a veteran, Mr. Peter Walden. Before you begin, this is quasi-judicial, so I will ask my colleagues if they've had any ex parte communications. Commissioner Hurd.
If I have any, they've been filed.
Thank you. Commissioner Heatherington.
If any, they've been filed.
Commissioner Jenkins.
Any that have been filed.
Thank you. And I as well, if I have any, they've been filed. Anyone that will be offering any testimony, if you could stand to be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Mr. Walden, do you have a copy of your work history and the agenda item?
Yes, sir.
Are there any interveners?
No, sir.
Um,
And no
Did you
notices
have to,
were
I was
required.
heading there.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. Do you have any notices that need to be? Are they
No, sir,
required?
none required.
Thank you very much. I think you can begin.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Pete Walden, the Deputy Growth Management Director. And this is a request for approval of the South Florida Gateway Plan Unit Development. It's a plat infrastructure final site plan for an approximate 180-acre parcel, which is part of a 500-acre parent tract owned by KL Waterside LLC. The project is located on the west side of Southwest Canner Highway, approximately 3/4 of a mile south of Southwest 96th Street. The property has been used for agricultural purposes and has been cleared and has no wetlands or existing native habitat. Included is a request for a certificate of public facilities exemption. The plat infrastructure plans provide the framework for the future industrial development of the forthcoming plat, and the infrastructure plan is consistent with the approved master plan, which was approved by the board on February 1st of this year. As stated, the site is approximately 180 acres. It has an industrial land use and is an approved planned unit development zoning agreement. The infrastructure site plan provides the development criteria for the open space, building and lot coverage, access, and stormwater management and landscaping, and it does not provide for any vertical development, which will require submittal of specific site plans for the lots. This is the site plan. It has the same criteria and layout as the approved master and is designed to provide for the future lot development. There is landscaping provided with the infrastructure plan. This is a sample of the buffer plantings that will be associated with the project. There is a required 30-foot buffer between the property to the north, which has an agricultural land use. And the applicant has provided this additional 30-foot buffer along Canner Highway to act as a natural buffer to the industrial park. Development review staff have found the application to be in compliance with the all applicable code as detailed in the enclosed staff report. Oops. Therefore, staff moves that the board receive and file the agenda item and its attachments, including the staff report, as Exhibit 1, and move that the board approve the request for the South Florida Gateway PUD Plat Infrastructure Final Site Plan. That includes my presentation. Be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Walden, thank you very much. Questions from my colleagues for Mr. Walden? Seeing none, we'll hear from the applicant.
If you can leave that up for a second, Pete, I just want to, for the record, my name is Morris Crady. I'm senior partner with Lucido and Associates, and I've been practicing land planning in Martin County for 40 years. And I wanted just to address one of the public comments this morning from Barbara Fitzpatrick with the Florida Club, and she's probably watching. I don't think she's here now, but I'll follow up with her as well. But one of the things that we did, that addresses her comment, is we moved all the industrial from the canal to Canner Highway deliberately to increase the market potential, but it also does remove the industrial development from the canal. And it's currently it's been row crops for years, so there's no treatment of any of their runoff or stormwater when it goes into the canal. So I mean, it is. We did convert it to urban development, but the one thing about urban development in the canal and the rivers is that there's a higher level of water quality protection, storage on site than would normally be provided by agriculture. So this project is meeting all of the criteria for water quality and stormwater. So there is an outfall, but by the time it gets there, it goes through this drainage swale, and even before it gets in the swell, it goes through our water treatment system and makes sure it's cleaned up. So by the time it gets to the canal, it's very clean water. It's nothing like the agricultural runoff that has been occurring there for decades. I had one slide up there on the PowerPoint. I don't know if you loaded it, but I wanted just to on the desktop.
On the desktop, let me see.
It's just a South Florida Gateway, or he might not have put it on there. So it just click that real quick, because I want to just give you an idea of the quality of this industrial project. Yeah, just click on that gateway. That's all I need, really. The next slide, and that's just one slide, because what we're trying to create here is a Class A industrial park. This is not trashy looking industrial center that you normally would see. We're attracting Class A tenants. Currently, we have, we're under final site plan review for approximately 1 million square feet of distribution and warehouse, so that's coming in. The county, as you know, has acquired a site within the industrial park, so that will be going forward shortly. We're working on Karis cold storage facility on this site. Right now, if you just try to count the employees, we're talking about probably 400 employees already sort of lining up based on the development that we have proposed. So that's what it's going to look like. We don't show, there will be a signal at this intersection. This is the northernmost intersection. There will be a signal there as part of our development plan that we'll have to install. But that's the typical 30-foot buffer along the Kenner Highway that we voluntarily provided. It's not required by code. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions for the applicant's representative from commissioners? Seeing none at this time. I do have one request to speak form. It is from Miss Joan Goodridge. Thank you. Ms. Goodridge, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Administrators, and members of the public. Joan Goodrich from the Business Development Board of Martin County, here to support this item, which will provide that foundation, as you've heard, for our future job creators. Also an excellent opportunity for us to continue to build the non-residential tax base here in Martin County. And I can also verify the very good interest of the marketplace for this proposed South Florida Gateway project. So we look forward to supporting the future tenants that are considering this project. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else from the public looking to address us at this time? Seeing none, we come back to the board. Does the staff have anything they'd like to add?
No, sir.
Conclusion. Commissioners?
Good?
I'll move approval.
Okay, I'll second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion for staff's recommendation of approval from Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, the motion carries unanimously 4-0. Thank you very much. Mr. Walden, you did a nice job. I don't want you to think that just because you've been here a while, you don't get any accolades. Our next agenda item is departmental number 1, Office of Management and Budget items which require board approval. There are 10 of them. It'll be presented by Ms. Jennifer Manning, who we hope has a wonderful day. And are there any from my colleagues that need to be separated out, or do you want to hear them in order? Sure. Okay, Ms. Manning, you are recognized.
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Manning, OMB Director. The first item on the agenda is permission to apply for the Indian River Lagoon National Estuary Grant. This will be used to fund the Living Shoreline. The grant amount is $59,000. And the grant amount is $64,000. It requires a $59,000 match, which is covered in our CIP Shoreline Management Program. Second item is permission to accept the Florida Department of Transportation Public Transportation Grant Agreement Amendment for the Section 5311 non-urbanized grant. They're adding an additional $115,907. It also requires the equal match. Those funds are programmed in the public transit budget. The third item and the next two items after that are related, but for different areas. It's permission to accept the Florida Boater Improvement Program, which is FBIP, through the Florida Fish and Wildlife. They wanted to provide $35,000 in grant funding to help with the design, engineering, permitting, and improvements to the J and S boat ramp. It requires a $36,000 match, which is programmed in our boat ramp renovation program. The next item is permission to accept the FBIP grant funding in the amount of $50,000, and this is for the boat ramp at Jensen Beach Causeway. It requires a match of, I think it's 40, I think it's 41,000, and the grant will expire in 2024. Item number 5 is also a permission to accept the FBIP funding for the Charlie Layton boat ramp renovations, permitting and design. And it's in the amount of $40,000. It requires a $39,000 match, which is also programmed in the boat ramp renovation CIP, which is a capital improvement program. Item number 6 is a request to approve a budget resolution to amend the EMS, Emergency Management Services Trust Fund grant. We have a remaining balance from FY21 at $15,163.62, and we would like to add it to the current EMS grant for FY22. Item number 7 is also a request to approve a budget resolution to accept additional funding for the Community Services Block Grant. And the additional amount is $24,438.67. This will be added to the initial $116,936 that was received in January 2021. These funds are used for rental assistance to qualified residents. Item number 8 is a request to refund the Series 2017 taxable bank loan. We went out for RFP and we received 4 qualified responses, which included JP Morgan, Key Government Finance, as well as TD Bank and Trust Financial Services. Those responses were reviewed by the PFM Financial Advisors, which is the county's current financial advisor, and they made a recommendation to made a recommendation for TD Bank to be the refinancier. And sorry, I apologize, not TD Bank. They recommended JP Morgan Bank, and that's mainly because they have the lowest interest rate. And our net present value savings is $555,170, and that is through the life of the loan. So the life is not extended, but we will save over the term of the loan, $555,000. And so staff went with those recommendations, and we're requesting the board to also approve our recommendation to refinance this bank loan. Item number 9 is we're updating the financial guidelines for the conduit bond issuance, and this is just to increase and to conform with the market compatible rates, as well as reflect the additional staff time it takes to review those conduit bonds and bring it to the board. The final item is a budget transfer and a CIP modification that is requested through the Utilities Department. They're requesting an additional $300,000 to purchase an excavator, which was destroyed by fire. It will be covered by insurance, but in the meantime, they were requesting funds from reserves to cover the costs. And that concludes my presentation.
Yes, Ms. Woods.
Sorry.
That's all right. Mr. Chair, members of the board, Sarah Woods, County Attorney, I'd like to also request board approval of a budget transfer in the amount of $80,000 from the county's reserves to be used to address matters related to our Palmar holdings.
Okay. We can add that into a motion if someone's going to make a motion. I'd like to just take a moment to compliment Ms. Manning. Went through it in part of her presentation, but it bears repeating that through our legal and financial staff, reorganizing a financial document or instrument that we had the county, and meaning taxpayers in Martin County, will save over $500,000 basically for the same product, just for thinking and being clear through our process, and the folks that were involved, our bond counsel and the rest. A $500,000 savings bears repeating. So thank you very much. With that, any questions for Ms. Manning or Ms. Woods?
Move approval, including the additional $80,000 from reserves to settle Palomar affairs.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Hurd, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next agenda item is departmental number 2, contracts that meet the threshold for board approval, $1 million or greater. It'll be presented by Ms. Christy Brotherton.
Good morning,
Morning,
Christy
Ms.
Brotherton, Purchasing Manager. The first contract we have for your consideration today is our Tropical Farms Water Treatment Plant Post-Treatment Stabilization Project, Staff is recommending that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, which is Lawrence Lee Construction Services, in the amount of $1,957,000, and this is for the base bid only. Move that the board approve the CIP revision to fund the project, and move the board approve a budget transfer from the Tropical Farms Water Plant Project to the Tropical Farms Water Plant CO2 System Improvements Project in the amount of $900,000. And move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. Next, we have a continuing services contract for coastal engineering projects. The maximum not to exceed contract value is $5 million with a maximum not to exceed term of 5 years. And staff is recommending that the board award the contract to Aptum Environmental and Infrastructure, Coastal Protection Engineering, Cummins Cedarburg, Taylor Engineering, and Tetra Tech, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. Next, we have another continuing services contract, which is for our manhole rehabilitation and sewer cleaning. This contract has a maximum not to exceed value of $1,250,000 with a maximum not to exceed term of 5 years. Staff recommends that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidders, which is Hinterland Group and Felix Associates of Florida, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. Next, we have a continuing services contract for custodial services for public buildings. This particular contract does require CJIS clearance. The maximum not to exceed value for this contract is $2.5 million with a maximum not to exceed term of 5 years. There was a calculation error discovered after we released the agenda, which did change the recommendation of award. So the new recommendation is that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, which is American Facility Services, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. Last, we have another continuing services contract for custodial services for public buildings. This contract does not require CJIS clearance. There was an addendum issued during the bid period, which did increase the maximum not to exceed value to $3 million from the original $2.5 million. And this contract has a maximum not to exceed term of 5 years. Staff is recommending that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, which is United Services Incorporated, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. And that concludes this item.
Ms. Brotherton, thank you very much. Questions from my colleagues for Ms. Brotherton? Does anyone need any of these to be separated out? If not,
Move approval of the Department 2 items, including the changes to number 4, with the bidder change to American Facility Services. And on number 5, the maximum not to exceed value changed to $3 million.
Thank you very much.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Hurd for staff's recommendation with the changes, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? The item passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Our next agenda item is departmental number 3, water quality comparison of Martin County tap water and commercially available bottled water. It'll be presented by Mr. Sam Amerson. Mr. Amerson, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. Sam Amerson, Utilities Director, for the record. A few meetings back, I think during a budget presentation for CIP, Commissioner Smith had asked that we do some research and analysis on bottled water versus Martin County tap water. This was a result of a visit to Home Depot a month or so ago when they were on a mission to sell filters, and we're letting the public know that the water was not safe to drink. You shouldn't drink it without a filter, thus initializing this research. So we had our lab get together, laboratory technicians at the North Plant, and we collected 9 varieties of bottled water in gallon containers. Those are collected from Walmart, Target, and Publix. And we haven't disclosed the name brands of those because we want it to be not focused on the name brand, but at least the quality of the water. So we tested it for, we identified the source of the water, the treatment technologies used in producing the water, 10 fundamental water quality characteristics, and then also the cost per volume. This is a summary of the sampling results as far as identifying the type of water, and all we had to go by was what was marked on the label of the product, and so we didn't do any further research than what was shown on the labels. We identified the water source, in this case as shown on the labels as well, and then the treatment methods. Most of the bottled water uses filtration. A number of those uses ultraviolet light and ozone for disinfection, where most utilities uses chlorine for disinfection. These are the parameters that were tested. We tested pH, total chlorine, alkalinity, total hardness, iron, chlorides, nitrate, nitrite, color, and total coliform. And then we also identified, calculated the cost per gallon. As you can see, Martin County water does have residual chlorine. That's required by the state, that we have a minimum of 2 parts per million in the system. On an average, we have about 3 parts per million, and the maximum level that we're allowed to have is 4 parts per million. And you'll see none of the others have a chlorine residual because they don't use chlorine for disinfection. pH, we measure pH, and that is measured of how much acid or alkalinity is in the water. 7.0 is in the middle of that scale, and we're slightly above 8.5. Typical range is 6 to 8.5, 6.5 to 8.5 standard units, and this is a secondary drinking water standard published by the EPA. We keep ours a little higher than that range because of the alkalinity, and it also helps us to provide corrosion control within the system, which helps prevent leaching of lead and copper in the service lines on private properties and businesses. Again, total chlorine comparison. This is the alkalinity. We have alkalinity in our water from the superficial wells. We like to buffer the RO water. When we produce RO, and it goes through the filtration process, it takes out all the minerals and contaminants and chemicals, and so we use superficial wells to blend to get that alkalinity in a range so we don't have problems with corrosion in the system. The calcium and magnesium, this is a measure of total hardness in the water. Soft water is 0 to 60, moderately hard 61 to 120. You'll see that we're in the moderately hard range. That's not an issue. That's where we like to be. Hard water is 121 to 180, and very hard is above 180. This is a measure of iron. All the products we tested are very low in iron. Chlorides, they're all very low in chlorides, except for our system, which we want to maintain that level, and that's because we utilize chlorine. Nitrate, nitrite, and color. All of these were below 3 color units. Most of them are actually around 1 or 0, that very low level, which is good. That's where we want to be. But we can only measure down to a level of 3 parts per million. So those are all good. Total coliform. Good to see that there's no coliform detected in any of the samples. And then the cost per gallon. This is really the most telling. The waters are very similar in quality. We didn't see any issues with water quality, color, and the other parameters. But when we get to the cost, our cost, as you can see, is less than 1 cent per gallon. It's very cost effective. And they range anywhere from 89 cents a gallon to $6.75 a gallon.
Champagne.
Which is quite expensive. This is the laboratory staff that performed all the sampling.
You didn't tell me you were taking a picture?
No. I wanted to show them at work.
That's the pictures my dad takes.
In process. So how do they compare? As I said, tap water is by far the better option. It's more cost effective. I think there's a concern out there, or I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and it's like social media. And I was on, was it Neighbor or Next Door Neighbor or Sun Next Door? And people get information, and it's typically disinformation. And the next thing you know, there's a flare-up, and there's all these flurry of emails and messages. And a lot of times it's disinformation. Don't drink the water. I heard you need a filter. So I'd like to post this on the website for a while. And so the public has access to the study we did and can, decide for themselves if it's safe to drink. You know about the 2 treatment plants. We have a consolidated system with the north plant and the south plant. We've been through that. And also recently awarded in Region 8 the best tasting drinking water. So we're proud of the product. Our employees are proud of what they do. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emerson. In my mind, when I saw the agenda item, I thought you were going to be we were going to be sampling these waters and doing like a little taste test thing.
We can make that happen.
I'd like to know what number 7 is for $6.75 a gallon. You don't have to tell us, but.
No, we didn't want to disclose that, but we do have those listed.
I might have to call you.
I think some of them, it's like any advertising. It's what they put on the label. If there's a picture of a baby and it says baby pure or pure water.
Yeah.
People tend to drawn to it. And
it's marketing.
Exactly.
Fancy bottles. Questions or comments from my colleagues? The gentleman that asked you to do all of this happens not to be here today, but we'll relay the message. I'm sure he's watching.
I'll make a private presentation.
That's right. I'm sure he's watching. Well, I appreciate it. I think we knew that our water quality was excellent, and I appreciate that you're trying to knock down some of that disinformation, whether it was in person. And I get it. At a big box store, someone's job is to try to sell water filtration. They have to create some kind of sense of urgency. They had no idea that the head of the utility department be roaming through the aisles, and it almost like something that should have been like on videotape. That definitely would have made an interesting Snapchat story, or
perhaps I can forward the PowerPoint to Home Depot corporate.
Right. You gave them two mentions, so.
I mean, actually, we had a call come in from a resident that was concerned because that individual had been approached at the big box store and was conveyed that our water was really bad. And so I called Mr. Emerson, and he personally went up there. Yeah.
He said, "I'll be right there."
He took the bait. The young lady doing the survey took the bait. So.
Well, next time we'll turn it into a TikTok or something.
Well, I failed to mention, too, our treatment administrator, Todd Leland, who assembled the PowerPoint with his staff, he actually went up there after I did, and he was trying to explain to her, can I get this on video? Because I can't buy anything for the house without my wife's approval, and she's not going to believe me. So if I could get you on video to show it to her, she might let me buy a filter for the house. Well, she had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, so she's,
So he went back on a Saturday a few days later.
is there anyone from the public that would like